Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you guys are doing well today. We're going to be looking at Swiss watch exports for the month of July. Obviously this is a series that we're doing every single month when Swiss watch export results are released and announced. We kind of go over them with you and give our predictions and give you our thoughts on the results and then give you predictions for the following month. So like I said, this is for July. As always, I'll go over the June results beforehand and then I'll give you some of the results for July. I think a lot of the things that we discussed in our last video kind of held true, and hopefully the trend will continue. But before we get into that, if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I know a lot of you guys watch my videos but are not subscribed, so be sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, right next to that subscribe button is the like button. If you wouldn't mind just smashing the heck out of that like button, it really does help us out. So going into the results, I'll kind of recap last month's results. So last month, Swiss watch exports declined by about 35%. If you look at the 12-month moving average from last month, it looked like there was maybe some sort of plateau forming. The 12-month moving average was at, I think it was just over 14%, and then it for June it moved to just above 15%. So I thought that maybe this was some sort of plateau that was being created by the recovery that the global economies have been seeing. Obviously, negative 35% growth for Swiss watch exports is not a great figure, but I was optimistic that this plateau might have created some sort of stability, or shown some sort of stability economically, and that people would perhaps start buying watches. And so for the month of July, my predictions were still a contraction of about 30%, which would kind of continue the plateau that was being created. I didn't think there was going to be a positive result for Swiss watch exports when you really compare what last year was like and what this year ended up being. So moving on to the results for this month, there was still a contraction of negative 17%. If you look at the Swiss watch exports, right about 1.6 billion Swiss francs was the amount of Swiss watch exports for the month of July. I think this kind of follows what I was expecting. Still a decline. I was off on my numbers, but still a decline occurred. But there were some key markets that did see some signs of recovery, which we'll get into later in this video. So negative 17% was the kind of overall number. If you look at the 12-month moving average, it still was slopes downwards. However, it is kind of plateauing on the rate at which it is falling. If you look at March to May, you see this very, very steep, sharp decline. And then if you look from May to July, you can see it kind of evening out a little bit. So some positive visuals there when it comes to the numbers. If you look at watches by metal, you can see that all of them are declining. Interestingly enough, gold steel only changed negative 8.5%, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know if this probably just has to do with what the figures were for gold steel last year, and they're a lot closer this year, this July. I don't think this is everyone rushing to get two-toned watches. Nothing really too exceptional there. If you look at the watches by price category, you can see continuing the theme that we've seen on the past couple months, still in the negative corridors, really showing that the cheaper the watch, the larger the decline. So if you look at watches under 200 Swiss francs, you can see that units fell by 42% and value fell by 36%. So, and then as you kind of graduate up by price point, once you get to that 3,000 Swiss franc mark, you're looking at negative 16% decline in units and negative 11% in value. I think this shows the resilience of luxury goods. I think a lot of people think that the more expensive a watch, the the more likely they are to purchase it. And watches at 200 Swiss francs, people are just going to buy, you know, a smartwatch or something like that, or maybe not even bother. So I think that kind of shows that theme. If we look at the main markets, and I think this is where a lot of the optimism may come, you can see some really great results. I think this points to some of the economies that have been able to recover a little bit quicker than others. So the main markets in order from first to last in the top 6: China, US, Hong Kong, United Kingdom, Japan, and Germany. If you look at the change year over year, you can see, if you look at the change, you can see China is actually up 59% year over year, and then in fourth, United Kingdom was actually up by 2.5%. If you continue to go down below the 6, you can see UAE, Netherlands, Australia, Turkey, as well as Ireland saw some positive results. Now I think Ireland's, you know, plus 721.3% is probably just an enigma when it comes to these results, but I think this shows some of the main markets really showing signs of a recovery and people kind of getting back into their you know, the flow of the economy. But there were also some results that you know, were close to par. The United States saw a decline of 0.6%, which I think is also a really great result. Germany saw a decline of 1.1%. So I think the recovery can definitely be seen for these economies, and these economies are slowly starting to open up, and people are starting to purchase watches, which I think is a positive for the market. Obviously, there's other countries that are again being you know, have fairly steep declines if you look in comparison, and I think that's just going to take time. I think something that's kind of emerging from this whole COVID-19 economic recession is that it's going to be a slow recovery. I don't think it's going to be an overnight change. It's going to take, you know, some people are estimating a year from now before things are really back up in full swing. So, but slowly but surely, I think Swiss watches will slowly dig themselves out. Something that I've added to this is just to look at some of the exports by region. So again, if you look at the graph, you can see fairly negative results. I think it's nice to see Oceania actually having positive results, and the Americas, Europe, and Asia kind of getting closer to that 0%. So to hopefully turn positive when it comes to their total values. So I think overall this has been a somewhat reassuring month, but still showing signs that the Swiss watch industry is not completely immune. Obviously, it's not immune to an economic recession, and it's going to take some time before a recovery can actually take place. Looking to next month, I think my thought is that it's going to be very similar. I think this month has again shown that economies are slowly starting to open up. I don't expect export numbers to grow positively. If you compare, you know, August of 2019 to August of 2020, I think it's still going to be negative. I'd say it's probably going to be around what the results were from last month. So this month was negative 17%. I think anywhere around negative 15% is what I'm expecting for next month. And it's going to be a slow process, and I think we all just have to accept that. So those are my predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed my coverage of this and continue to enjoy these videos. If there are things that you want me to add to what I discuss when I go over these exports, let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you didn't do it in the beginning video, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. I told you in the beginning, but be sure to hit the subscribe button. And also, don't forget to like this video. It really does help us out get these videos to people who may be interested in this, because they probably watch similar things to you. All YouTube algorithm things, but if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, it really does help us out. And with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.